Thank you, Father Coop, Father Becker, Reverend Fathers, any honored guests, and my brothers. As a former student and instructor of the martial arts, I learned and experienced many of the benefits of engaging in such a unique sport. For example, any motion in which an extremity crosses your center line, your brain has to make a connection across the hemispheres. And this can actually lead to potential growth of gray matter. Thus, if you take karate, you can learn other things more quickly and more easily. But another type of connection, which is more important and has a greater impact on your life, needs to be addressed. And as the saying goes, many people miss heaven by about 18 inches. And that 18 inches refers to the distance between your head and your heart. So now kind of the context for these connections. I grew up in the loving embrace of my family out in the countryside, and it was there where I developed my sense of adventure, my imagination, and my love for reading. But the Catholic faith was the steady undercurrent which propelled our lives. We went to church weekly, and even now, as my sisters are regularly being married off, we all still go to church. We all still go to church together, sometimes spilling into multiple pews. We also had Catholic schooling for all 5 of us children from pre-K to 12th grade, and for this, my parents sacrificed much. And it was in these schools where my head knowledge of God grew. I gained a lot of facts. I was also an altar boy and a generally good kid, beautifully seasoned with a little innocent mischief. And so all the old women of the parish told me to be a priest, and all the middle-aged women told me to marry their daughters. You may imagine that I was torn, but the choice was easy: marriage. I did not yet know who I was, and as Father Bauer taught us in spiritual conferences, if you don't have a relationship with God, then you're going to have no way of knowing your identity, nor your mission, as his 3-legged stool analogy suggests. So now I guess moving to the first heart knowledge encounter I had, I was back in 8th grade. A good friend of mine, then seminarian, now Father Nick Vandenbroeke, dragged me to a couple of net masses that year, and one in particular was Vocation's Mass. And I knew of his ulterior motives, but I went nonetheless. And it was there that I had the opportunity to be prayed over, which was the first time I'd ever experienced that. And I went up to this little old nun who looked like she knew what she was doing, and she began to pray over me. And I don't remember any of the words she said except for the very last one she gave me. And she was holding my hands, she closed her eyes, and she said, "Lord, if I'm holding the hands of a future priest, that'd be the greatest gift of all." And in that moment, my heart melted. I was on fire. I was really enthusiastic. I got so excited that I had 3 other people pray over me. And so this was kind of the start. That was the first connection between my head and my heart, just kind of the love of God for me. And, from then on, that moment, I would ask God every day, "What do you want me to do with my life?" And he gave me many more signs as I asked for them, but I ignored them. But the one sign that was undeniable was my senior year of high school. And as I wrestled with dating, with going to seminary, God placed before me an opportunity. My mom, she was asked to be a consultant out in Madison, Wisconsin for a couple of months. And she asked all of us kids, she said, "Would anybody like to take my hour of adoration?" And I accepted, not knowing the full consequences of such an action. And so for the next 3 months, Sunday night, 10 to 11 o'clock, I had my time with God. And it was here where he really had time to work on me, where I didn't have any other distractions, where I wasn't constantly shutting them down. And so these heart and head connections began to really flow more freely. And since my time in seminary, my head knowledge and my heart knowledge have both grown immensely due to his help. And I guess reflecting on my experiences, I can now see that, we're all, God, like these heart and head connections, we can't do it. It's like going into the operation room. And as soon as you allow God to work on you, he does so. But then there are times where I get off the table, kind of holding the blood back and running away from God, and then I go out in the street and get hit by a car. But because I'm unconscious, he can work on me all the better. And so So I very much look forward to the rest of my life living in relationship with the Lord and seeing what He has in store for me. And I'm especially grateful for my life, for my existence, my family, my education, but most of all, God's revealing Himself to me and His plan for me. Praise be Jesus Christ. Amen.